Welcome, everybody, to episode 7 of the Big Three podcast. We are in the Concordia University podcast room. We got some nice ass microphones today, and we don't have any way to record it. I don't know what we're gonna do with the video for this, but we'll kind of figure that out later.
Yeah, we'll put it together. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. And we don't have a guest today. It's just me and Gar across the table from each other.
In short explanation, this idea was basically we have been doing podcast episodes, and one, the mic quality hasn't been fantastic, and two, we haven't really talked about what it's like. We haven't really talked to each other as much as we would like to, since it's about us, I guess. And so we wanted to really make that happen in an episode, and we could do it at the same time because fiNESS is now going to Concordia.
Yes,
so it kind of all worked out timing wise. This episode's a little bit overdue though, so it took us a little bit of time to make it all work out, but here we are.
Yeah, because the episodes do just kind of turn into like interviewing whoever we're with sometimes, you know what I mean? Which is fine. And usually, I think that's very interesting.
And usually there's sort of a theme or a point to every episode, right? With Spectre, it was the Arcadian, or with Lilac, it was the PR.
Yeah.
But
this is kind of just turning on a mic and riffing.
But as opposed to Pascal, we intentionally talked about what it was like post Arcadian, what's it like to be around in the Smash scene as kind of a veteran. We haven't done that many just shooting the shit kind of episodes. So we wanted to throw one out there.
So I do guess me being at Concordia is a good place to start, because that's a thing that I haven't really mentioned at all. Right?
Yeah,
there was that one announcement video that they put out. Shout out Yoder for that. You like that?
not the Ness back throw clip, bro.
I know, dude. There were so many better clips. He kept asking me to send him clips, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it later, whatever, right? And then I just never did. So he's like, whatever.
Okay, so it's your
fault. I'm just gonna throw it together. Okay. Yeah. It's partially my fault and partially his, because I think in that game my first and second stocks were better than just back throw. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
But regardless, though, that video was like mostly a bit, you know what I mean? I was trying because I think they wanted to put something out just to be okay, he's here now. You know what I mean? He's going to Concordia. And I'm the type of guy where unless I'm putting in super long-term genuine effort to something, I don't want it to be serious. You know what I mean? If it's gonna be a half-ass thing, I'm gonna try and play it as a joke a little bit.
Are you gonna play for their Smash team or Rocket League team or?
Yeah, so
that's kind of my follow-up question.
Right now, I'm gonna be there's a 3v3 crew battle league and a 4v4 league, and I'm gonna be on the team for both of those. It's me, Jay Goody, and this guy called Dimitri. He's insanely good. He just doesn't go to tournaments.
Is that the guy that plays every character under the sun?
Yeah, he plays every DLC character.
He came to Movement 2 weeks ago, and
I
was there for that week. He lost
on stream to somebody.
I think he lasted to G-Man.
That might have been it.
Or maybe one lasted.
But
I forget.
His Steve is his best character, but he has walked in and taken 9 stocks with his Joker before. So he's just a really solid all around player. And then Jay Goody made a crazy run at Movement recently, so he's obviously really solid.
From his Movement run, he looked like he was getting better, which is encouraging.
And we're doing really dope coaching and training sessions, right? Where it's first of all, Yoder had us all sign up for Matchbox, which is never the beginning to a good story.
Is it outsourced, or are you guys getting coaching from not Zach?
It's just from Zach, and I know Pascal goes here.
Yeah.
So that could maybe be.
Well, he doesn't go here.
Later.
He works.
Yeah.
He works.
He is here. I'm pointing to the building he works at, right? But it's he's a lot more knowledgeable about the game than I realized Yoder is.
Yeah.
Because I'm just so used to sitting down against his Luigi, and we're both kind of dicking around the whole time.
Yeah.
But then sitting down and getting genuine advice about practicing habits, what are we doing wrong?
He's one of the most competitor Smash Ultimate players.
Oh yeah.
He knows everything about how to.
He has sneaky knowledge. I didn't even realize.
Yeah. Not necessarily specifically about the sense that it's a video game, but definitely in the sense that it is a competition and a sport, and how to improve in those aspects. He's like very, very high quality.
He's also very good at like the player-to-player aspect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Basically,
that's
100% of our coaching, so far at least, we've only done like 2 sessions total, and one was like actual practice, the other was like VOD reviews. It was basically all just like, what are your opponent's habits? What are they doing? What are you doing? How are you punishing it? Like we did one where like you start above your opponent at 50%, and your goal is just to land, and every time they hit you before you land, they get a point. And it was like...
Yeah.
We did like 10 reps of that, right? And then we switched, and like whoever had the most points at the end like won the drill. And apparently there's some like prize for it at the end of the season that he's being ambiguous about. That I have like no idea what that is.
Yeah, I actually try to do like sort of similar things with like the high school kids I work with. Sometimes it's sometimes hard, especially with like big gaps in skill. So it's like I'm trying to do something, and it's, you know, if they're just like not getting it, and it's like really hard to materialize what's going on, or like to you know, to like connect it to a match.
Do you ever get like frustrated? Like if you have like a topic that in your head is like so clear, but they just like it just doesn't click.
I try to be like very like sympathetic and empathetic about that sort of thing. Just because like I know what it's like to not be good at something, and then I know also that everyone like learns a little bit differently, and I can't try to mash like my understanding into someone else, especially when they don't know as much or whatever.
Or even if they get to the point where they are rather knowledgeable, they might not understand the game the same way that you do. Not even on the same level, but like in a different category of understanding.
Yeah. These are all true things, and it can be frustrating sometimes. Like I mean, I give the example of we were just like doing a challenge match against another team, and my freshman Snake player, he kept hitting this Charizard player away with like dash attack or F tilt or like back air or something. He just like he would like win neutral, and then instead of like being aware of what the Charizard player was doing, he just like would hold up smash or like Nikita or something. And Charizard and like the Charizard player kept flare blitzing into center stage into Snake, who's just doing up smash.
Yeah, Charizard has like of all the characters has like some of the most things to do about a Snake who's doing that.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, like it happened like 5 times on the same stock. And I'm like, dude, we can't be doing this, right? Like you have, you know, I don't know. Like that was probably the most frustrating part of like my whole like, like just in a practice, right? We're just playing some other team in a scrimmage, and he just like can't get his head around that he has to try to not get hit by Charizard Flare Blitz from across the screen. But other than that, you know, it's going great.
Yeah, other than that, it's been awesome. See, I'm like, because I have a bunch of friends that play games like with each other competitively, but not like competitively.
Yeah.
And they all like want to try and like learn the game. And I like
that's like sports kids though. Sure. Like sometimes when you're running into esports kids, you don't get sports kids. But continue.
Right. Yeah. A lot of it is just like I find the biggest issue always for like people who play the game for fun and want to get good at it is just that they're not like putting enough time into it. You know? Or like they're not watching it enough. They're not thinking about it enough, because you don't necessarily have to be playing the game a lot, obviously.
Right.
It's just about like thinking about it, watching it. And I think that's the thing with like people trying to improve, is that they think that they can just like play sometimes and get better. You know what I mean?
It's for like my history personally, like I played Smash 64 was like basically the first game I ever played. I was like 4 years old at like a friend's house, like getting babysat because both my parents worked. Like there wasn't even a friend to hang out with. It was just me in their basement kind of thing.
Right.
And I just like played Smash 64 against CPUs. Like I'm like 4 years old. Like that's just what I did. Right. Yeah. Like I just like figured it out. And
that's crazy.
And then I played Melee, and I played like Dock and Melee. And I got like okay. Like it would be my oldest brother, who he would play Link and spam up B in the center of Fountain of Dreams, and then my middle brother would play Jigglypuff, and he would not get hit by Link spamming up B, and then me playing Dr. Mario getting hit by Link spamming up B, and then usually a CPU. We would also throw in a CPU for some havoc.
Just like run like 4-player with like you and your 2 brothers and a CPU.
That's kind of what we did.
Do you guys ever have like moves or characters that you were like, This is OP. We can't use this?
I don't remember.
Like
I really don't remember. I was too young. I mean, Melee came out the same year I was born, so like it was just a long time ago. Brawl, I remember Brawl, I remember thinking that Sonic was really good.
Yeah.
I have a famous a memory that I will never forget, where I was playing my brother. I don't even remember what character I was playing, but he was playing Sonic. He was camping the shit out of me, man. Bro, it's like, we're on FD, no items. There's no timer, right? Well, he's just camping the shit out of me, man. It's Brawl. It's Brawl. I don't know what's going on. I'm like 9. I have a wave bird. I don't know if I said this. I'm holding the wave bird. And he's like camping me. And I'm like down a full 2 stocks. I just throw the controller against the wall, bro. And we have like brick wall in our basement. So I throw the controller against the wall.
Oh, that controller shattered, huh?
No.
Really?
No, the controller is fine. To this day, it's still usable.
Wow.
And from that moment on,
Let's go Wavebird.
I just could not, like, I don't know. It's like every time I see someone, like, even myself, every time I see someone like raging, I'm just like, bro, we can't be, that was like so cringe. Like, I just like remember that memory. Like, it's just so cringe.
Yeah, I just remember like childhood Gar raging at Sonic. And,
yeah.
And now adult Gar just like silently gets frustrated by Sonic.
Yeah, I definitely silently get frustrated. But
yeah, I'm the same way whenever I see people like full rage. It's like, I get it, but like, we're in public.
The like point of my story was just that, like, I've seen so much Smash Bros. I've seen like so much iterations of Smash Bros. Yeah. And it's so different with these kids that I'm like coaching. They've seen like 100 hours of Smash Ultimate and that's it.
Or less.
It's
a
like,
lot of times,
yeah, it's like so different for me. Like, I don't know. Like, I have such a, even like walking into Smash Ultimate, I already had a really holistic understanding of how like the Smash Bros series goes.
Yeah. You're even just like boil it down to like fighting games in general, just like the idea of seeing interactions, picking them apart, knowing how to counter them.
Yeah, or like I was like air drift is like, I mean, something that you don't see in other fighting games, but it's like so important in Smash Ultimate and Smash Bros in general. Just like using air drift to be ambiguous in like what you're going to do next, and that's like none of my kids know how to do it. Like every time they're in their air,
I probably don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's like not an offensive thing, but it's just it's like so integral and like. But like even a lot of like new Smash Ult kids like they don't really do it, partially because their characters don't make them, but that's like a side tangent.
Right? Yeah, that makes sense. But I guess to fully answer the question that you asked me earlier, because I never did, like, am I on the team? What am I doing at Concordia? Yes. However, I'm also doing a bunch of commentary stuff, obviously, for their various teams. I'm gonna try and learn Valorant and commentate Valorant.
Oh, really?
Well. I've kind of been in the process of that. I think I've put in like 20 hours to the game. You know what I mean? I'm like slowly learning that. I might wind up on their Overwatch team because they just don't have a sub right now.
Yeah.
So there's a scenario where I'm like playing competitive Overwatch.
Yeah. There's a scenario where you're like 24/7 playing like in the esports world. In the collegiate esports world.
I mean, yeah.
Eat, breathe, esports.
Yeah, I'll be traveling a lot. Because they're like covering my travel costs and entries to to any tournament, yeah.
Oh, really?
So I want to go to
cool.
a lot of majors. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
I want to be signing up for like Rise and Grind, all of the events on like the East Coast that like Max Ketchum puts on. Those are all fire. So I'm gonna try and get out to those. And I might wind up doing their like regular sports as well, which would be awesome. Yeah, because apparently they don't really have many people who are doing that, and those that do, it's just like their athletic director like wants to fill space in the broadcast, right?
Well, usually those spots like don't really, I mean, they don't like pay, like the people like when I do a soccer game, the people that do the announcing, like they're just parents,
Right, yeah, just like doing it for fun, and that's what I was thinking when I like came into this. Yoder was talking to me like, oh yeah, you're like the most experienced like freshman coming in we've ever had, and I'm thinking like, I never considered like what I have been doing in terms of commentary to be like useful or like experience. It's always just been like, at Movement, I'm like 100% just doing it for fun. And then at bigger tournaments, it's like maybe this will one day be useful down the line, but it's not really experience yet. But then Yoder was talking to me. He's like, yeah, like this is like really valuable. And then I was talking to the athletic director about doing like their actual sports. And he's like, yeah, we never really had someone come in with experience. And I'm like, oh, is someone coming with experience? He's like, you. I'm like, oh, dude. Wow. You know what I mean? Just because I've never considered this like like half hobby, half like something I maybe want to do. Like I've never considered that to be useful experience, or even this right now.
It's a little bit
like,
right, yeah.
Familiarizing myself with just like talking a lot, like using basic editors. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a little bit vague because like you're not like, you know, if you were getting a sports broadcasting degree, it feels a lot more like focused and like your ability to like be a and also the roles are more fixed, so like you would be a play-by-play as opposed to like Smash commentary, even at high quality regionals. It's like
at majors, dude,
you know, it's kind of just like people are just talking, you know, like I mean, like EE Coney is not like Coney sometimes will try to be the guy that knows more about what's going on, but
Coney can.
It's really just two dudes talking about the game and just kind of making jokes. For better and for worse, right?
I was just about to say that's like both what people love and hate about Smash commentary. You know, like if you look at any given YouTube video, it just depends on how much like traction like either take got, because it's just like, wow, the commentary for this is so fun, they're so casual, they're just having a great time, or like, oh, this is so unprofessional, they just like they never talk about the game, they don't really understand what's going on. So it's the type of thing where if you are going into like actual sports, typically there's like this guy, his career, he is a color commentator, he is an analyst, he is a play-by-play guy. There's like nothing else. But in Smash, it's like you kind of have to do all of it.
Yeah.
Right. And again, as you said, for better or for worse, it's fun. It's a lot more casual. It's a lot more flowy. But it doesn't really lend the best to like really big like all eyes on events.
Right. I think like a more traditional like sports commentary showcase in a Smash event was when Goblin and Script did like a top 32 block at like some A tier like 6 months ago or something. Yeah. And it felt like a sports commentary, like a sports broadcast, because
Goblin has some good content.
Yeah.
He makes some good stuff.
And he's also been for the whole time of Smash Ultimate, he's been a top 60 player or whatever.
For sure, yeah, he's been around.
So he definitely knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, and there's definitely moments in Smash history where it was very clear that like the commentators knew what was at stake at that tournament, and like they really wanted that tournament to go well, so they kind of turned it up in terms of like professionalism, right? I always think of the Evos, right? I think of like that one run that Hungrybox had at Evo. All the commentary for that super professional, right? I think of like Tweak MKLeo, super professional commentary. It's just like Coney and Vicky like kind of falling into their own roles, but what I was going to say is that the traditional like layout of like each commentator having a certain role doesn't really lend well to Smash, because it's not like most sports where it's like burst of action and then a break to talk about it, burst of action, break to talk about it. I think basketball, right? It's like someone scores a basket, they run across the other side of the field. That gives the analyst time to talk about like what just happened, why did it happen, what made it good, and then the next burst of action. Smash is just kind of like there's always stuff happening, right? And even if something isn't happening right now, something could happen in the next second. So even if you do have like a dedicated analyst, they have to be so good at being so like quick and snappy with their analysis. They don't have time to like really dig into like the minutia of every interaction. They kind of have to just say like, that was good because of this, and then move on because something might happen. And then you get the whole, oh, he's not even talking about the game or what's happening. Right. Which is like probably the number one criticism I see among commentators, especially at majors, is like, oh, they're just talking about like Bakugan or whatever. Like that's not the game, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So what have you been doing in terms of like
hit me.
Coaching that high school team you were talking about? Is that just like something you do with Straw Hat Dad, or is that something you do on your own time? Or
that's something I do with Straw Hat Dad is a good explanation of it. He brought me on to be the Smash Bros coach / assistant coach of the local high school's esports team. Cool.
You put the local high school esports team in quotes.
Yeah, I don't know how else to describe it. Right, his kids go there.
Okay,
sure. Like Straw Hat Kid and Straw Hat Kid's younger brother, they go there. And so I get.
Is that the Cloud player?
I
think it was somebody else.
No, he plays Wario.
Wario, okay.
He's actually been to a couple movements.
Okay. Cool.
He's got curly hair, but.
Okay, I know who it was. I was thinking of somebody else.
I digress.
Right.
So it's like there's there's different things about like high school this season is trying to become more collegiate in terms of like their format, right? High school is trying to do crew battle. They're trying to do.
What did they do
battle.
before?
We did. Do you know how tennis works? Like the one, like the
Vaguely.
the number one plays the number one, the number two plays the number two, the number three plays the number three.
Interesting.
And then the fours, which is doubles. There's a double spot and another double spot, and they play an overall best of 5.
Interesting.
So you have to win 3 of your mini matches to win overall. Which I think is like a cool format.
Yeah, that's
and then
cool.
with
I've
Smash,
never even, considered that.
With Smash, they just did it 5 people straight up, which I actually think that they should do 4-1, where it's 4 singles, 1 doubles. I think that'd be sick.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
But anyway, so last year, long story short, is that we like barely made it into like the regionals for like Northwest Ohio area.
Okay.
And we like barely beat the best team. We like barely beat the next best team. We barely beat the next best team to go to win regionals and go to states.
Okay.
Which is like super cool. We had like both Straw Hat Kid's younger brother and also our number 2 player. His tag is NobandMob. He plays online all the time.
Okay.
And both of them played like fantastic at regionals day.
Cool.
So it was like super momentum, like super sick to have them all play great. And then,
Do you feel like
states like didn't go as well. So
okay.
Yeah.
What like were you guys running into like PR players at states, or like who were the best like state
No,
players
we ran into like the best team was basically 4 kids that all go 3-2 at Cincinnati locals.
Right, they like had a lot of consistency. Like
Yeah, they were all also deep. Like our team is not nearly as deep.
Okay.
Like you know, we had like Straw Hat Kid and then the second kid too. He usually won.
Yeah, because I was thinking when you said you guys
harder.
were barely winning, I'm like, I feel like Straw Hat Kid would just like
but it's not right. It's not crew battle format.
Oh right,
But this year it is now crew battle format.
Man, that's a dope format.
Which means the crew battle means that Straw Hat Kid can just win.
Yeah, right. He can kind of carry a little more.
Yeah, we can send out our best player. And if he can hold stocks, he can just keep taking them, right?
And he can hold stocks,
right? And it also naturally snowballs, right? Because like if you are at 110% on your last stock, and you win the game, now you're at 0,
you're down to
right?
0.
So the format just changes a lot. I think I actually, in my personal opinion, I don't like crew battle. I think it's bad format for collegiate, but that's like a different conversation entirely. The main reason that it's bad for high school is just because like you just get too much mismatch like matchups, right? Like having a literally state PR'd player play against some kid that goes like 0-2 at a local, isn't.
And he has to play that kid every time.
Right. And it just isn't cool. And you also can't take him out, right? Because of how crew battles work, I can't like throw someone else in.
Yeah, you can't be
he has to play.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's just like an aside. But yeah.
Yeah, I also like the idea of a format that kind of values depth more.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's a much better assessment of like the team and less like which team has the better peak player. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm biased though because I do think our strength at Concordia is our depth and not our peak. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Because I think our peak is like a really good Jay Goody. You know what I mean? Like if he's playing really well, that's probably our peak.
Yeah.
But I think like our best 3 are kind of in the same like realm of skill where it's like typically on an average day we have a similar level of like potential. You know?
Right. I'm with you.
And then our 4th like switches every day. Like we don't really know who our 4th is.
Okay.
It's probably a hero player.
Okay.
Probably, I think is our 4th, which is fun.
Yeah.
Like
right.
Like,
yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
I think hero in a crew battle format as like if you have a player that's like not that great, I think your worst player being a hero is like the perfect character for your worst crew battle member.
Yeah, that's actually funny because last year at regionals, their number 5 was a hero player,
right?
And that guy was like known in their team to clutch. He was the clutch guy.
Right.
He goes out last like in a 2-2 match. He goes out and he clutches, and that was like his role. He like wore like the hero cape and shit, and I was like, you know,
playing into the bit entirely.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah,
because
that guy was not good. That kid was terrible.
He was clutch though.
Well, he just rolled. I mean, right? He just rolled away from situations. So
see, I just love that.
It's just funny.
Like having your worst player in a crew battle play some like cornball ass character.
Yeah, no,
like,
I super
smart.
Agree.
It's so smart.
Agree, yes.
Like our 2 that are like kind of in the running for the 4th spot. It's that hero player and a Kirby player who's like trying to pick up Pit. And as like a 4th best player on a crew, I would so much rather that be a Kirby than a Pit. You know what I mean? Because a not so good Pit is pretty easy just to roll. A not so good Kirby might just catch you on some shit you've never seen before.
Actually,
you know what I mean?
yeah, Kirby's actually different. Kirby, you actually need to know a lot of like Kirby specific counterplay in terms of like how to abuse Kirby, how small he is. So I actually don't necessarily agree, but I think if that Kirby player gets like a little bit better, he's like a very valuable counterpick character, like a counterpick player. That's for sure. Like, so in that sense, I agree.
Because the thing about Kirby is that even at like he just takes a lot of experience to be able to counter, but then once you have that experience, you can just like flatten him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we see a lot of that in Michigan right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
where the players that have Kirby practice, Zanotto, flattens JJ every single time, but then the players that don't will either go close or just like every single time die to some weird stuff that they've probably never seen before, and it just like catches them off guard. So
yeah,
often.
even whatever 6 months later, it's still catching them off guard.
Right, exactly.
Right? JJ won the
because they have to play it so much.
Mini regional. I don't even know what you
Yeah,
call
what
it.
was the deal with that? I didn't. Did you go to that?
No. Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to talk about it.
Really?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you did go.
Don't worry. No, I didn't go.
Oh, okay.
But I just like won't.
I thought you were saying you did go in it.
No,
like,
I didn't. It
went
go.
that bad.
I didn't go.
Okay.
That's a giant stink bug.
Oh my god!
On the monitor. Well, I guess we have a friend in the room.
He's tight. I rock with him. he's like dancing,
He's tight.
bro. You see his walk? So hard. The stink bug's raw as hell.
Can I go on a tangent about?
Please do.
We were. So like reintroduce the conversation that we're going to talk about before the podcast started. You know, like we were sitting here and you were like, oh, what's it like to be a Smash Bros player or whatever.
Yeah. So I was just talking about. I think this is a good chance for us to talk about like where we're at now in our career and where we're going and where we've been, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like I've kind of done that, right? Like my big thing for the next, for the foreseeable future is just going to be college crew battles, practicing for that, going to as many majors as I can because I now have the ability to do that. And then I mentioned that would be a fun thing to talk about for you, and you said I'm gonna be a lot more nihilistic about it than I normally would be, and I didn't really know what you meant. So.
Yeah. And then I said save it for the pod.
Yeah. Talk about it later.
And so I basically just like in some like we're all gonna die on the heat death of the universe kind of thing. Like it's like it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. To anyone outside of like me and maybe my opponent, if like specifically when we sit down right now, I win, right? So it's like hard to put like my whole self into like a Smash Bros event when like there's gonna be another event in 2 weeks that maybe I'll go to. Like I'm the only person that really cares about what's going to happen, and if I don't care, like no one cares, right? So sometimes I'll just like a good example is I played not very good. I played the Bowser Jr. player. What's
Lance?
his name? I played Lance. I lost. I ST'd at fucking 30, man. I ST'd at 30 game 1.
Was that like the movement regional?
Yeah, that was one of the movement regionals. It was the second Saturday movement.
Okay.
I lost to Lance. I was like, whatever. And I started playing better in losers. I beat Keith Saturn, like game 3 last hit.
Saturn.
And then I had to play Zephyr, who I've never beaten before.
Really?
And then I won. I just like every 2-frame I went for, I hit. Every read, every like crucial read I went for, I hit. I felt like I just played like specifically game 1 and 3.
Just played out of your mind.
I played really good. And I also like
you lost your dome.
Yeah, and then game 2 I got ding dong 3 times. So that's how we went to game 3.
Yeah, I mean that's the DK matchup.
But game 3 he left Battlefield open, and I was like, what is he doing? So I finally beat Zephyr that in that set, and I was it was just a good moment like for my career or whatever. And then I had to wait 2 hours, and then for the top 16 portion of the event, and I had to play Trisket, and I think I'm good at the Pac-Man matchup, whatever. But I was just like running the stream upstairs, I just like I don't know, not like as a John, but not as a John. Like my heart just wasn't in it.
John, that's okay.
My heart just like wasn't in it, and I didn't prepare as well as I should have, right? Like sure. I know Trisket's like playing the game all the time. Like he lost to me. I mean, it was on stream at Movement like 3 months ago. I'm sure he was looking at it. Like I haven't seen.
Yeah, he's a grinder, bro.
I haven't looked at him play since we played 3 months ago, and
that whole like OU team, I guess apart from Tony, is very like grind culture.
Well, Tony is too. He's just not as vocal about it.
Yeah, but he also like
he goes through phases.
He presents it like he doesn't think about the game at all. He's like, yeah, you just gotta play. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Have you ever?
He does not have a magnifying glass out when he plays.
Have you ever heard somebody ask him for advice, or have you ever asked him for advice?
I have, yeah. He like 6-0'd me in grands once,
right?
At like a random DI downriver, and I asked him about it.
Because in my experience, hearing someone ask him for advice, he's like, man, you just gotta play the game more. Like you really just gotta like play the game so much. I just played so much. You know what I mean? Like I feel like he doesn't think about the game like at all, pretty much. He just plays so much. Right? Yeah. So all of them at the very least are like
I would agree.
Constantly playing the game, including Trisket, is what I was saying.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. And I mean, I kind of got rolled. I kind of got rolled in that set. So,
damn.
But I lost, and then I just like got up, and I was like, okay. You know,
so is that like a
2 hours? 2 hours later, here real quick. 2 hours later, I check bracket. He loses the dice 2-0, like right after me. It's like what was even the like? I would have lost the dice too. So it's like
what were you playing for?
It's like what was I playing for? Getting a shot to play dice again and then not be happy. You know, it's like I don't know.
So then is that kind of like a relieving mindset to you almost? Like you don't feel as much stress in or after matches because it's like, oh, it wouldn't have really mattered.
It's kind of. I mean, it's like distancing. You know, like out of body, but in a bad way. It's like you feel distant from the things that brought you.
You're like dissociating from
disassociation is the word I'm thinking of. Like it's disassociating.
Right.
So which is like, that's like whatever, you know, it's just like part of how life works.
No, yeah, it is. And like,
you know, so.
That's kind of a thing that I think anybody goes through when they've done anything long enough. You know, I obviously don't have that with Smash yet, because I'm so like new and starry-eyed about like everything that happens in the scene. So when I win a set, I'm like, my life is changing. This is the best day of my life.
Yeah. I think it was. I mean, I like think back about like the times when it was like late Smash 4, and I was like the 16-year-old kid in the backseat of a carpool, like driving up to Michigan to like get my one chance at playing some guy that's really good. You know, running around Diddy Kong holding shield and banana, just like, you know, that's like what I did. So, you know, like that was like peak like Smash environment in terms of like as a player for me. But like since then, it's like more been like about just like hanging out with people that I like to hang out with.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that I also like really like this video game. So
and that's typically my like counter to like a nihilistic take on literally anything.
Yeah.
But you know, in this lens, it's all about like if I am in a set and I'm thinking, oh, it doesn't even matter if I win because like the next guy I play is just gonna roll me.
Yeah.
If I thought like that at every tournament, I would never enter, right? Because if I get any win, if I win my round one, I play Tony next. You know what I mean? Or then I'm in losers and it's like, oh, I play like Lav next. It's like, oh, I'm not gonna beat Lav, right?
Right.
So for me, it's just a thing where, and I'm sure you feel the same way as well because you've been doing it for so long. I love competing, right? It's very fun to compete.
Yeah.
Even if I'm in a matchup that feels like so impossible, I love like trying to figure it out, trying to like think of what am I doing wrong, what can I be doing? I know this person's better than me, but I can beat them. You know what I mean? Like that's just like that's why I think Smash Ultimate is so captivating as a competition, is because any player, like any person that's participating, if they can think critically about the game, they can beat the best player at the tournament, right? That's just like how Smash events go. You know, like top PGR players will lose at locals because like somebody just like had their number that day, right? So that's why it's so captivating for me, and that's why I haven't even started to think about getting bored, is because every set that I play, even if it's against Tony, I go into it thinking I'm gonna 3-stock this kid. You know what I mean? Because like I'm
gonna make it happen.
Right. Like that's the mindset I like to have, because if I win, it's a blast. If I don't win, I learned a lot. Right.
Yeah, that's like that kind of thing is like peak. Just because it feels good even when you lose. When you've been around for forever, it just like
exactly.
It's like you lose and it's just like you know
I have beaten this person before.
Yeah, it's like I've also got this feeling of like, oh my god, who's like watching this set? You know, who's like thinks I'm terrible.
Yeah.
So that's like kind of annoying.
That makes sense.
But I mean, yeah, like I said earlier, like you yourself are always the person that cares the most about your results. And so if you really care about it, then it's going to like you will play to your own what's going on, as opposed to
yeah, sure,
in actuality what other people think.
Yeah, that's another thing that you mentioned about like what people think. I think another driving motivator, for me, of course, but for a lot of people that I've talked to, is like kind of the performative aspect of it, right? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that either A, want to play cool or want to make the upset so they can tell their boys that they made the upset. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people that want to think like, oh, I want to beat like Tony so I can go tell my homies that I just beat Tony, and they're like, oh my God, good job. You know what I mean? And I think that's also a very real motivator. That's definitely my primary one. As someone who is very performative always, right? Like with doing commentary and even in just like my conversations with people, I'm a very performative person. So I kind of play Smash with that intention, right? It's like, oh, I want to do something cool here. I want to beat this person that I wouldn't be expected to beat, and then walk into the TO Roommate movement and be like, I beat G-Man. And they're all like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I play the game. And I feel like that's not something that necessarily goes away. You can always do something cool. You can always have someone's number in like a very kind of stylish, unique way and be like, guys, look at this shit that I just did. It was like, wow, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, one of two reasons that I would go to a Toledo local was, one, to prove dominance, and two, right? And two, is that I could make $40 on my Friday night. You know,
sure,
it's like
sure.
You know, that's
that's so, another thing that like I never even think about as a motivator, because this is something that really interests me, and has always interests like / frustrated me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Is when I see like PR players, top players at locals, they're always getting top like 5 or whatever. They're always getting payout. I don't understand how you could ever be in a set where, like, you know, let's say it's the difference between like third and second, which could be the difference between like 15 and like $50.
Yeah.
Like
a
decently sized local.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you could be like, yeah, let's go randoms. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm so detached from like what it feels like to get $50 instead of 20. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, how could you ever not just want to get the extra money and try as hard as you can every single time? And I so often think like, oh, if I was like a higher level player, I would use money as a motivator so often. But then I see people who would have like a genuine reason to like look for money as a motivator, just like not think about it at all. It's so much more about the competition than the money that you would get from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, my big response to that is just like, when you've done something against someone like so many times, like it feels like you've already played the situation out 100 times before,
right? Because you have,
and it's like, and it's like, what's one more time really mean? You know, like we could just like there is much more to the game of Smash Bros than just me playing my main against you playing your main, and we try as hard as we can.
Yeah.
So that's like kind of my best answer. It's like I've gone to like meaningful events and just like dicked around.
Right.
Like
yeah,
I mean, that's like what the LaGuardia Airport, like I drove an hour and a half to Michigan so I could play Wario. You know, like you know, like just because like it wasn't like
really,
you know,
like, after you've been competing so long, that's not your main draw to tournaments, of course. You know what I mean? It's just like to hang out with people. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
see
sort of.
You want to be with.
Sort of. I think there are other There's like pride, money, friends. Is like those are like the main 3.
Yeah.
Right. So
the 3 sins of Smash Bros. Motivation.
I don't know. Maybe it's the 3. I don't know. Saving.
Friendship definitely is not a sin.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
So that actually brings me to another thing that I wonder about. Is it like weird splitting yourself between 2 scenes? Like, is that ever a thing?
What
that,
do you mean?
Like
2 games or
no? 2 like being in like Ohio and then Michigan.
Oh.
Like, is that ever strange, or is it like you feel like you should be going to one more? Or
or
I guess
I got a good story. Yeah.
What like draws you to come 2 hours to like Michigan locals? You know what I mean?
Yeah. My mini story with that is Ohio is putting on or like the main TOs of I don't even know. I think it's in Columbus, but like the main TOs of Columbus are putting on an Ohio summit. So they put on a Columbus summit like a month and a half ago. So they're now putting on an Ohio summit.
Which region are you closest to, by the way?
Northwest Ohio, or Toledo, right? So it's like Toledo in northwest, Cleveland in northeast. There's like nothing really in southeast, and then in the middle it's Columbus, and then southwest is Cincinnati and Dayton.
So how far are you from Columbus? Like an hour and a half or something?
It's like a little bit more than 2 hours, depending on where in Columbus you're going.
Okay,
so like like OSU campus, it's like 210.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
But like to movement, it's like whatever, a little bit less than an hour and a half.
So is movement like your closest tournament? Typically?
Yeah, I mean it's the closest like big tournament. Yeah,
wow,
that happens.
okay.
Like, well, yeah, I mean DI Downriver and Ann Arbor are both closer.
Okay.
But I mean they're just not as good as movement.
Yeah,
for various reasons.
Yeah, movement's a phenomenal.
But like for the Ohio Smash Summit, like I was invited, like Straw Hat Kid and I like I didn't even like get a message. I didn't get a message about it. I just like saw on the Start GG that it was like, from Northwest Ohio, invited Gary and Straw Hat Kid, and I was like, what?
Oh, really?
I was like, since when? I was like, and I don't know, and like that interaction was very like, I don't want to say like off-putting, but like it made me feel like a foreigner. I was like, it was like that I was just like randomly invited to this tournament that I didn't know was going on and I didn't have any relation to, and like no one asked me anything, no one told me anything about it. I was just all of a sudden going, right? Like my name was in the Start GG, and I was just like, what? Like it made me feel like such a foreigner, for better and for worse. Like but vice versa. Like if there was something in Southeast Michigan like of a similar tune, like I would be like, oh, thanks for inviting me. That would be sick. You know, like I would almost be surprised if I wasn't.
Yeah.
So I definitely feel more connected to like Southeast Michigan than I do like any other part of Ohio.
Right.
Even though I've been to locals in Cincinnati, Dayton, Columbus, and Cleveland.
Yeah, you've been all around.
So I have been to them, but never on like a super consistent basis.
Sure.
Those experiences are usually like, oh, like let me just like I want to play some player just to see what happens. Like I'm just curious. I got my eyes set on one player and I know they go to this local, so I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna see what happens.
Yeah.
Or I'm just like really in a Smash fix, and I'm like, dude, I gotta play the game.
That's real.
Like, is there any local like 200 miles anywhere? Like, can I go somewhere to play the game? So those are like the main two reasons that I'll get out.
Mm-hmm. So how like disconnected are the different like regions of Ohio? Like how often do they play with each other or interact? Like is it as drastic as like East and West Michigan where we like only play at like the biggest regionals? Or?
I would say that like Cincinnati, Dayton, and Columbus are similar to like Ann Arbor, MSU, and Southeast.
Okay.
So it's like not that infrequent that one of the mini regions will go to another one for a 30-man local or something like that. So but then yes, like I think Cleveland and Toledo being considerably farther away from that little hub makes them feel a little bit more isolated. Cleveland actually has like a bunch of good players and they have a pretty good scene within themselves as opposed to Toledo, which just doesn't have as much of a scene. Cleveland has like Andrew T. Happy, who's a Lucario player, who's pretty good. Dawn. I know Dawn. They had Toast. Toast Colony is like an early Smash Ultimate.
Wow. Okay. Toast was the Young Link, right?
Mm-hmm. Toast was the Young Link.
Had that Frostbite run.
Yes.
That's like I hate to say it because it's a Young Link player, but that's one of my favorite Ultimate runs ever.
I don't remember. I was actually at the event and I like don't remember that.
Really?
Yeah,
dude,
really.
I wasn't, but like that's like the most like electric crowd I've seen at an Ultimate event maybe ever. Like when he beats Light, the crowd goes ape shit, dude. I love that moment. Oh, that actually reminded me.
Yeah.
Something you said earlier about like sometimes feeling like a foreigner in both Michigan and Ohio. The one moment I've noticed like of you where that definitely was not the case, and this is like what I think of as like one of the most fun like crowd experiences I've had at Smash was Cost last year. Yeah, because the whole time it was kind of like a very obvious like crowd rivalry, right, between like Michigan and Ohio, like fans almost, not really, but like the supporters like being louder and cheering on their boys.
Oh,
so it was always like half the crowd would pop off for any given interaction. And then I just think of your set against Dark Wizzy, because you were the only person all day that played that everybody wanted to win. You know what I mean? There wasn't anyone that was like, yeah, Dark Wizzy. You know what I mean? Everybody wanted Gar to win that set.
Dude, I really wish like someone like sat me down because I was like in the same mood that I am like right now. I was like, whatever. Like if I win, like whatever. Like I'll try my best, but it's like whatever. I wish someone like sat me down and was like, dude, like play your heart out. Like look for shit. Like play like your life is on the line because this would be the coolest win of your fucking career. You know?
Dude.
Like I really wish that like. I mean, it would just have been such a cool win. Like I could do the Leffen where like I win Super Smash Con and I turn around and I'm like, I got my hands up in the air like I'm Jesus.
dude, because
I could have done that. It would have been sick, but I just
because you also mentioned Dark Wizzy earlier that day. You were like,
well, because I played him in doubles twice.
Yeah. So you were like, I feel like he's like not like all that. You know what I mean?
He's, like specifically in how like I play. I think like if I were to pit myself against a top 100 player, he would be up there.
He'd be like one of the ones that you would want to beat.
Yeah, he would be one of the ones that I think I could beat, as opposed to like the top 100 player, like I don't know, like that plays some character that I've never seen before. Like that's kind of what I'm in.
Right.
Or like a play style that I'm uncomfortable against.
Oh yeah, because you're very much a Mario non-believer.
I'm also
which I assume means that you would be very comfortable counterplaying the stuff that people get flustered by with Mario.
Specifically in how Wizzy plays, because he is very like hands-off approach. He's kind of like going to wait for something to happen and then play around it, as opposed to Kurama who's trying to make it.
Kurama will suffocate you.
Yeah, he's trying to make it happen.
Kurama Leo is one of my favorite sets ever. I love that set so much.
You know,
that's one of those where like I look back on it and like one of my favorite memories about that set is like how perfect the commentary was. Right? I love like I
don't even know who did
that set, and that's what I was just about to say is that's one of those moments in Smash history that was tainted by like.
Oh, was it like D1 or?
It was like Keitaro and like somebody else who like also is like he who shall not be named type. You know what I mean? Not that I won't say the name. I just don't remember. But I just remember looking at it, being like, man, both of them. You know what I mean? Like,
I got you.
Damn.
Yeah, I got you.
So that is about 45 minutes. Is there anything else you want to touch on before we depart this sexy ass voice episode?
I mean, not really. Unsurprisingly, I think the episode went pretty well.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, we will. We'll probably as like kind of a wrap up. We'll probably go back to the Discord setup. Unless we can get another perfect situation where it's like a Saturday morning before a tournament and it works out that I can be here, and also we can get our guest here because there are more mics than just two in this room.
There are 4 in here.
So we could get 1 or 2 more guests in here. And obviously like I love the mic quality. Like that's just like
so nice.
So
I think this would be my question for like the viewer, for those who have stuck around. Do you prefer like infinitely better mic quality with no visuals or the setup that we had before? I personally would assume that this is a much better viewing experience. You know what I mean?
The question number 2 would be like, would you be willing to wait an extra week for better mic quality?
Sure. Or we just like do both and intercut them. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Because like if we want to have guests from like West Michigan or like even like Wisconsin,
we just do a mix.
Yeah.
We just try to do a mix.
I think that would be the play. But like if everyone hates this episode, then we'll just never do it again. It's doable because Gar is now an hour away instead of 2 hours, pretty much. Or
I've always been
from like,
you mean like from movement or
from like us meeting up outside of this. We don't both have to drive more than an hour to meet up. It's
thank you.
I'm here, you're an hour away. It's like a lot more convenient.
We could definitely do this more frequently.
So feedback to those who enjoyed it, want to see it again, let us know. If you don't, hated it, let us know that as well. Links to everything as usual in the description. If you want to be on, we will have that form in the description. Do not ask me in person. Have you had that?
No, let's not tell stories.
Okay. All right.
Let's get out of here.
So sign up, that link, hit those all up, our Twitters, all that stuff. Give us feedback. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you.
It was very fun. Goodbye.